This interview is sponsored by Bell Video and Audio Services. For all your video and audio services and virtual media, call on Bell Video and Audio Services 334-338-2793.
We want to say good afternoon to everyone that is watching by Facebook, YouTube, another edition to Bell's Video and Audio Services podcast. Tonight we have another special guest, and this guest is from the Roanoke area, and his name is Mr. Bryant Whaley. And we have a lot to talk about this afternoon concerning the position that he holds not only in Roanoke but in Randolph County as a whole. So let us bring on our guest, and as he come on tonight, we're going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to start this interview with our special guest tonight. Mr. Bryant Whaley, come in tonight and introduce yourself, and we will start this interview. Welcome to the show, Mr. Bryant Whaley.
Hey, Mr. Mack. Hey, again, thank you for having me. And like you're saying, thank you for that great intro. I am a native of Roanoke, and my current title is the Executive Director of the Randolph County Economic Development Authority. I've been in this position, going on hard to believe, almost 4 years now. So it's been a quick 4 years. But again, thank you for having me. Thank you for all you do and your services to the city of Roanoke. You've been I know you've done a lot for this town and this area, so appreciate everything you've done as well.
Thank you so much, Bryant. And Bryant, before we get started, the first question I want to ask you to enlighten the audience tonight, what your position consists of, because a whole lot of people hear about economic development.
Sure.
And you are the executive director of Randolph County, just not Roanoke, but the whole county. So
Yes.
kind of go in detail, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
to explain to the audience what your job is all about, please, sir.
Yes, sir. In years past, this was once called the Randolph County Industrial Development. Industrial development, when people think of that, that is around, you think of smokestacks, you think of big industrial stuff. And it has shifted to economic development. Now, that doesn't mean we don't do industrial stuff. We do industrial recruitment, industrial retention, which I'll get into more on that here in a little bit. But, my position, I have to look at all aspects of the county. You look at Lake Wedowee, there's tourism there. The lake's a big draw to us. You look around Roanoke, manufacturing is real big. As you know, Mohawk is a great supporter of the area, great employer. You look over to Woodland, we have a lot of agriculture. Agriculture is real big in Woodland. Everything, and also forestry is real big here. But then over in Southern Union, you have to look at education. Southern Union State Community College, education is part of that as well, because you have to have an educated workforce. But on top of that, infrastructure is a big thing. You hear the hot topic of broadband. People now with COVID can work from home. There's telemedicine, there's teleeducation. Kids are having virtual days, which we never heard of till recently. So that's a big part of it. Workforce development and, having a trained workforce, going to that. We can have every job in the world, but if we don't have people trained and willing to work, so working with workforce development is big. And so that just encompasses a lot of it. Some days I may work with a class, like today, for example, I had a class come in that worked on the surf safe. And what that is they could go into a restaurant and be certified they know what temperature the meat would be and how to properly clean and sterilize. Something can be clean but not be sterilized. Tomorrow I'll be going to Birmingham for a talent retention. We have a problem in Alabama. We can educate somebody easy, but it's hard for us to retain those individuals. In Randolph County, we have that issue too, that it's hard for us to keep our own students, our own workforce. So, that's been something we've been working on, trying to retain some of those people. Retail recruitment, we work with that. That's just a little bit of that too. And then housing, housing is a big issue right now. You can have all the workers in the world, but they have nowhere to stay. So that's another issue. So my role varies from day to day. I like to tell people that my role is it's just me, myself, and I, and I get along great with everybody. So just a little joke with that, but no, it's a great position. Being a graduate of Hanley High School, I went to school there. Being from this area, I have a passion for here. I don't have kids myself, but I have nephews and nieces and a little sister who just turned 16. So she's driving up and down the road. So I want her to have a better life than I had. I want our kids and grandkids to be able to not only work in Randolph County, but they want to live here, not out of necessity, but out of choice. And that's what economic development is keeping our resources, our people here within the county and keeping them from going somewhere else.
And I thank you, Brian, for giving that overview of what
Yeah.
you do and what your job consists of as an economic development executive director. But also, I have watched you that you and the chambers of commerce, y'all work so good together, uh, getting things into the city and also into the county as a whole, and that unification, being unified, means a whole lot in putting things in to the county. So could you tell me just a little bit? I know we kind of deal with economic development, but also chambers of commerce is deal with the same kind of stuff on a certain level. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit too with y'all
Sure.
partnership.
Oh, yes, sir, definitely. And I couldn't do my position without the Chamber of Commerce. Ms. Dorothy Tidwell does a great job. I think she's going on that position now 14, 15 years. And where my purview is more of industrial and manufacturing and working with a lot of the bigger projects, she helps out with everything from a lot of community events, from ribbon cuttings. They host a big event coming up, Fall on Main, which is October 1st. And last year alone, over 1,500 people come to that. We work well together on doing, like I said, community events and doing different educational stuff, a lot of lunch and learns, and trying to do stuff throughout the county. And, I say she, but Miss Tidwell, me and her work on different projects. We work, sometimes people contact her quicker than myself. In fact, she got a call about somebody with a potential project that we're working on right now. And we work together, everything from going to meetings together to, like you said, collaborating on different things to help out each other with. Sometimes she calls me in, sometimes I call her in, but every time there's something with the chamber, I try being there because, the small business, like what you do, Mr. Bell, with Bell Video and Audio Services, that small business right there is the lifeblood of what a community has. If you look at a project, when I get a request for information, people look at the three things, locations, good workforce, but number three is community of life. Excuse me, it's quality of life. Businesses can locate a lot of different places, but they're going to go where people are. And, people want to live in a place with a good quality of life. And, because of the Chamber of Commerce and because of economic development, we have a good quality of life to where people are realizing, hey, Randolph County is not only a good place to work, but a good place to live. And the Chamber really does help us on improving our quality of life in Randolph County.
Okay, great. And also, Brian, I want to talk about also is that what it takes to draw industry into our city.
Yeah.
Sometimes the public don't understand that some of the things that it takes to
Yeah.
get a certain industry
Mhm.
into our city or into our county. Now, there one thing they looks at, I know, is infrastructure, but also it looks at human infrastructure.
Yes.
So that plays a great part in drawing uh, businesses to come into our cities and into our county to give a good job and stuff. So without that, it's kind of be kind of complicated and kind of a drawback if we don't have the human infrastructure, also good physical infrastructure. Let's
Right.
talk on that a little bit.
Oh, no, you're without a doubt 100% correct. Everybody can have land. Everybody's got land in Alabama, but the difference between land and a site means it has power. You got to have power. You have water, you have sewage, you have gas, but also broadband's there too. So not only are industries looking at that, they're looking at the site plus utilities, and then they're also looking at the workforce. You're just talking about that human capital. It's crazy. There's data to show that the drive time. So, for example, a company would put a pin, the digital pin on Roanoke and draw a 60-mile radius around here and see how many people are actually coming and going from our area. And, that's a big part of it there. If you don't have the workforce, it doesn't matter. That was part of the reason why, your company with Mohawk, that's why they decided to invest more in Roanoke, because our workforce matched up better than other places. That's why Mohawk expanded 130 jobs. You look at Steel Fab, their company chose to expand Roanoke's location over Oregon, a Texas location, and Virginia because our workforce was better. And also just here in 2020 with Geldwin, it was a small 40. I say 40 is small, but 40 jobs in Randolph County was probably equivalent of 200 jobs in Birmingham. But they closed a plant in Ozark and expanded that here in Randolph County. We have not only the good people, but they're willing to work. That shows, and getting that story out. That's a big part of it. Like you said, the human infrastructure part of it is letting other people realize, saying, "Hey, we might be a rural county, but that doesn't mean we can't hang with the big guys." And since August of 2020, we've had over 300 jobs created here in Randolph County.
And you are absolutely right, Brian, because I work at Mohawk Industry, and I see the day-to-day operation and what's going on out there. There's people coming in and out, constantly coming in for jobs and stuff. Matter of fact, there's a whole lot of new hires as I speak right now that out there at Mohawk Industry, trying to make their life better by having a good job to be able to feed their family and kind of put clothes on their backs. And I thank God for Mohawk and the thing that they're doing out there to help not only Roanoke but Randolph County as a whole, and the surrounding areas. Because a whole lot of individuals that come drive out of town to come to Roanoke instead of going the opposite way.
Right, and something to that a lot of people may not realize, that special sauce was, Mohawk was one of our first industries to finally start raising wages. Mohawk hit that $17 an hour mark, and that was incredible. To say, hey, we got this. So when Mohawk done that, then you turn around and then Geldwin done it. Geldwin actually got rid of their temp service and hired an HR director. They started doing 17. Candlewick 17, Steel Fab 17. So when you're saying $17 an hour, now people that were driving to Chambers County, to Troup County, they're realizing, hey, I can make just as much money here in Roanoke, and I don't have to drive back and forth, because as we all know right now, gas is pretty expensive right now. And so, and I want to say, Mohawk set the bar to so everybody else would realize, and hey, we're paying people better, and other companies are realizing that. Some people have said, oh, we got a people shortage. Well, not necessarily. Well, a lot of our companies have got away with paying some of our employees so low, then finally they realize, hey, this higher paying job, I take care of my people that have been there for so long, like you have, and it pays off. So I think I've seen where, like, if you look somewhere, it takes out of every 4 people, one person may stay. So that high turnover rate, you can equate that to higher wages, lesser turnover, so you save money in the long run. So and that rising tide lifts all ships, and that's what began doing that for us in Randolph County.
And that's correct. I can speak from individuals that have worked out of town and back home. It's no place like home, Brian.
No, exactly, yeah.
One or two more things I want to talk about, Brian. I have kind of been keeping up with the news. The new business that is being located, matter of fact, is being ground is being broke, cement is being poured right about now, of the new chicken place. Let's talk about the new chicken place.
Yes, sir. That is Guthrie's. That is a group out of Chambers County that done that, and we actually use something in Roanoke that's not been done before in Randolph County, and that was called Amendment 772. And what that is we're taking some of the incentive. It's an incentive based off the sales tax revenue that the restaurant was going to be created. Now, to back up a little bit about that, each restaurant generates sales revenue. So we took a portion of that, which was new money. So we took a portion of that, give some to the developer, and the rest went to the city. Now, where this is different than other places, as you know, Roanoke City, most of its revenue comes from sales tax. So we didn't want to cut the hand off of Roanoke, because the city still needs tax dollars. You still got to pave roads. You still got to cut the grass. You got to do all that. So, but Guthrie's located here. It took about, what people don't realize, this too, that it took about 6 months negotiating with them on different places, different property. But they come to that corner and they saw that a great opportunity to locate here, and And, that was a big thing to finally have something at that corner. Because I remember being in middle school and that corner has been empty for 10 years. And, that's just something when I got this position was I want that lot full with something. I want something to be there. And sure enough, like you said, there's concrete, there's wood being brought up, across the street, that was another empty building there too. East Alabama Medical Center came in, for us to have 3 medical offices with East Alabama, Tanner, Regional Medical. I mean, other places are closing, and we've got new retail, new healthcare. That's the energy that I'm so proud of, that those vacant spots, those vacant buildings are getting full, and that's just a sense of pride as people come into town. We're going to have something sitting right there for everybody to see, like saying, hey, Roanoke's open for business, and that sends a great message throughout the whole county saying, hey, Randolph County's doing well. So that's if you can't tell, I'm a little passionate about that. I love being able to create opportunities for people. And one of the best feelings in the world is when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you helped my niece or you helped my grandson find a job here. Nothing beats that. The projects are all great, but when somebody can come up to me and say, hey, you helped one of my family members get a job, that's something that's really rewarding.
Great. So, Brian, let's also talk about if there's a already existing business that needs some kind of assistance to be able to stay afloat. What kind of assistance could the economic development give a small business to keep that business in business?
Okay. One of the first things people don't that come to me, they ask for, do you have a spot that I can just start my business? I started incubator space here at my office, and that was one of the first times people get to realize it's a low cost rent. I was only charging $50 a month, but it gave people a chance to see what it's like to run a business. So one of the first things is we can help you find a spot. Secondly, if you got an issue with marketing, I can help you get in contact with somebody at almost no cost to help you market your business. Social media is big. If you need help with your finances, there's a lot of different ways to fund businesses now. Some of that's either through different grants, different loans, different things like that. So financial funding and literacy, a business plan, a business model, so basically everything. I can help somebody with a business plan, business model, help you find funding, help you find a spot. And then when it's all said and done, help you with a ribbon cut and to welcome you to town. Even with the Roanoke Career Center, if you need employees, I can help you, direct you to that. My position, it's my job to help quilt everything together. It's like a big blanket. So as you come to me from a business and you got different things, you've got a plan, you've got this. Well, what don't you have? Let me know that, then I can help steer you in that direction to be more successful. So my job is to help you be successful. So when you're successful, everybody else is successful as well.
Great. Also, I want to kind of talk about the land that we have, 431 South.
Yes, sir.
Is there any prospect for any of that land out there?
Yes, sir. Actually, we have a industry that's going to be expanding there here sometime the next year. That's with Hutch Hammond of Victory Game Clocks. Hutch is expanding his business. That the E-down markers, he's expanded there. And you're going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but we had two people come from Houston, Texas, that's actually from Kazakhstan, who looking for an international project, and I had them out there last week. And so we're working on the power and the negotiations too, but you never know when somebody's going to be in Roanoke or Randolph County, and to have 2 international prospects looking at that property, I feel very confident we'll be breaking ground on 1, if not 2 or 3 things here in the next year. So finally going to get some activity at that site that's been vacant for so long.
Great. And all that sometimes is based on branding. So, people understand what branding is all about. If you would, you kind of go in details about branding.
It goes to that. There's a reason why you pay $100 for Jordans versus $5 for a different brand. You get what you put your money there for. When you're branding yourself with Randolph County, you have to be careful not to pigeonhole yourself into one thing. You have to show we're able to do a lot of different things. Like I mentioned, from hey, we have tourism, we have agriculture, we have education. And that's something they're always selling. My job, I tell people, is to find somebody to annoy every day for Randolph County. Who can I go out and say, hey, come look at here, come consider us? We've lost so much stuff to other places. my goal is not only to bring stuff back, but to recruit stuff here. Regionally we're doing well, but I hate losing more than I like winning, and that just goes back to that brand of Randolph County of why you're constantly selling it. It's always that game of hey, and people want to know what things are going on, and we were highlighted in a recent article of all the things going on within Randolph County, and that's just I might be the one here getting interviewed now, but Mr. Bell, it takes a village to do everything, and our elected officials, all the time you've served, our elected officials now, our county commission, it's a group effort, and I just thank everybody for doing that. I'm successful when we all work together, so I'm just the one talking. I might be the mouthpiece, but that brand of unity right there of everybody working together and doing well, that's what I'm most proud of.
Amen. We just went through a 2 year bad pandemic. Now it's not completely gone, but we had
Yep.
two years of real bad time.
Yes, sir.
So in them 2 years, we lost some of our businesses, such as our clothes business. We lost Cato's, and there's another business that we lost. So is there any prospect or anybody on the outlook is looking for some stores that will come back
Yeah.
and do? Let's talk on that a little bit, please.
Sure. And during that pandemic, we may have lost retail, but that's during this time is when we were successful with industrial recruitment. So we still maintained our jobs. Cato's, I think they fell victim to what's called the click and mortar. Things now have got away from the brick and mortar, and more stuff is going online. That's just one of those situations to where it's hard to compete when everybody's buying everything online at Amazon and so forth like that. But we were able to recruit, like you mentioned, with Guthrie's on coming here, so we did have some recruitment. But each day I'm working with different retail developments and trying to recruit to the vacant buildings. There's traffic counts. We work with traffic counts. We work with what's called geofencing, which actually there's data to show how many people that come in and out of Walmart. So using that data, the data that we used to have to pay for is now what I'm able to get and use for real estate to show them to say, hey, what can we do to promote this? So, and your realtors out there, if you need any information, I'm helping them recruit people into our town as well. That's when we go back to working with each other. But trying to fill those empty buildings. So yes, we working every day, every week on trying to find retail recruitment because retail is still creating jobs too, and that's spending that tax base here. Because if somebody has to go buy something from another county, well, then they're buying that, they're eating out, they're paying their gas, and we're losing that revenue. So that goes back to what I was saying about retail development, that with clothing, clothing's real big, but also just other things as well too. We have what's called a gap analysis to where I can show you where the leakage of what leakage is where people are going to buy other stuff outside the county. And, using that data, you can have so much data, it's overwhelming, but using that data to help people recruit or, going back to what you're saying about small business, we've got data to show that with a small business, if you like to start one, to saying, hey, we do have that missing gap. So maybe we may have lost the Cato's, but yet we may spur somebody else into going into business to help do that. So either way, if it's a big box, great. If it's homegrown, that's great. As long as that building's getting full, that's what I want.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bryant. And Bryant, I'm not going to keep you all night, but I just want to first of all thank you for giving me this opportunity to
Yes, sir.
interview you.
Yes, sir.
And this was a great interview, and you gave a lot of great information to the public. Because a
Yes,
whole lot of time, the one that sit back and on the outside looking don't understand the job that you got and what all goes with the job that you
yes,
got as the executive director of Randolph County Economic Development.
yes,
Uh, it's the benefit us
yes,
as the whole county, just not a certain city in the county, but the
right.
whole county.
Yes,
And
sir.
and I want to thank you for what you are doing, Mr. Whaley. And one thing I want to say, just keep up the good work.
Thank
Keep
you.
promoting Randolph County because this is home. There's no place like home.
Yes,
There's
sir.
no other place I want to live beside Randolph County. I like to visit other places, but I want to
Sure.
live in Randolph County. But before we leave out, is there any last words you want to share with the audience, Mr. Whaley?
Well, just want to let everybody know my door is always open. My always always done that. Like I said, doors always open. If you need anything, always message me, contact me, text me, call, whatever we need to do to, however I can help you become successful. If I don't know, I'll find out. Just like I said, it's a group effort. So however I can help somebody, just let me know how I can help you. And if I can't, I'll do my best to find somebody who can.
Amen. So thank you and for coming on the show,
Yes,
and
sir.
we will see you later.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Appreciate you having me.